Every time you go on the land and you immerse yourself in culture and the land, you learn something new. Life is really short and you should really take every opportunity I can, especially about being on the land and Dene culture.
This side go down. Yeah.
Going down.
We go like hand over hand there. What we'll do is we'll start off with just the basics of canoeing, so how we want to prepare ourselves and then how we want to get into these canoes.
The Decho-Deshinta River semester is a semester that starts in Providence and ends in Fort Good Hope. Along the way, we're going to be stopping in each community on the Decho rivers.
You're on your own now.
What else it is a chance for me personally to explore the region that my mother and her side of the family came from. I guess like a lot of my life, I've struggled with my identity. I didn't really get to know like the Dene part of me, and so Deshinta has really provided that kind of outlet and to learn more about myself and Dene culture. I'm currently enrolled in a social work program in Yellowknife. Had I been provided like with an opportunity to take social work programming with on the land learning, which I think is so tied into one another, it would have been a lot better. I'm nervous about like what happens if we dump and the canoe tips over, but what's helping kind of curb that is that I'm going to be learning about the places that like our ancestors traveled and traveling a route that many people traveled before us.
Oh, we're here.
Cho means big river. De is a river, and Cho is big. Some people say Dero. That's how I grew up talking about Dero. Many rivers flowing into it. I was born at Gazea, or Rabbitskin River.
Say that.
Sache.
That's the cha is the beaver, and tail is che. Sa, like this. Sa is bear. You say sa, 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 and this is cha.
Cha.
Cha, 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 and sa, sa, sa. Years ago, I was away a long time. I came back in the early 70s. One day I told him, Nezu Bohndele. Nezu Bohndele means I don't speak our language too good. They all scolded me. Kaindele, so don't say that. Just keep talking. Now the wind's got to blow this way. Come on, wind. Come on.
Throughout my life, I've always been really connected to our spirituality. Through residential school and colonization, that was taken away from the Dene people. I'm hoping that they learn to really see the land for what it is. It's not on just paper that they read about the significance of the land and the water by Dene people in the north, and they see it for themselves firsthand.
We've been actually talking a lot with elders and people, and I think really vital to learn from the people from the Northwest Territories and other Indigenous people about the history of the Northwest Territories, to tell you the stories about the place and to show you how to respect the area that you're coming through.
La da centrico, la da centrico, la da centrico. Tu centrico, tu centrico, tu centrico. Ho centrico, ho centrico, ho. Hi nationalita, hi nationalita. Et ankenetli, et ankenetli, et ankenetli, et ankenetli, et an, et an. None of it. Danetli, 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 danetli. None of it. Nationalita, nationalita, nationalita. More like adding the let. More like adding the let. More like adding the let. Then a adding the. Then a adding the. Then a adding the. More like adding the let.
I didn't really know what I was getting into other than 6 weeks of paddling. I didn't know anything. I didn't know what we were going to be covering. I didn't know like where we were going really, except past Simpson.
It's really frustrating to feel like a child, like you're learning something new, like ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, trying to come to terms that it's okay. You just got to keep trying.
You think about it, and like that is the language that has been birthed from the land. That is the language of the land, and that we're speaking, or at least that we have, like we're being surrounded by Dene Jatier while we're on like Decho land. I just sit and I think about that sometimes. This is what my ancestors were speaking while they're here and they're just traveling. This is how they prayed. They prayed in this language, and that's like that. that's so amazing.
These are the best ones.
Oh, that was a good one.
With the willow. I remember as a young child, I went sent to residential school. It was pretty tough, but at the moment, that's just the way it is. But now everybody is really colonized too much. And they all depend on the store. But back then, the people depended on the land for food. I don't want to say survival, but it was a way of life.
When I first came here, I kind of lost my language, and it was hard for me to communicate. It was just that Italian and French tongue. That's what they gave us in residential schools. It took me about a year to really understand and to be a real Dene again.
We never had the opportunity to name ourselves. It's always other people telling us who we are and what we're doing. And there's all these terminology out there. So as a young person trying to figure out who you are, I think it's even harder as an Indigenous person because, you know, are you Indian or are you Aboriginal or are you First Nations or are you Indigenous? What are you?
Because I feel like it's just a part of me. Like, this is me. Like, I'm from the earth, and like we're made up of the same things, like my ancestors and everything. So I'm like, I'm the same thing as the ground. It's really beautiful to be on this.
Probably a good idea.
I was really yearning for cultural experiences. And the fact that they let me bring my kids, I'm like, we're going. I wanted to bond with my kids more in a different way. I wanted us to have a shared new experience together. And I wanted us all to reconnect and reclaim some of our culture that in some ways was stripped away from us because we had a number of, well, both sides of the family did go to residential school. So we've had to deal with a lot of that. It was to reclaim and just re-strengthen and to just really connect with the land.
It hasn't been an easy trip. It's physically a lot of work. Getting used to this type of like life on the land and in the water and the sun and having to paddle even though you're tired or having to paddle until you can eat. And I can't just like fall apart. Like I have to really, there's other people kind of counting on me physically to pull through. You also have to think of your community. And I think it's important to realize that it's not just you in the equation.
And it doesn't have to be super thin, okay? Because it'll dry all of the moisture. And we call meat étain. Étain? Étain.
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 Say it again.
Étain.
Yeah. You?
Étain.
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 Right.
My Dene name, since I was a girl, when I was a little girl, was Dudu. And when I went through residential school, that's what all of my little friends called me, was Dudu. When they started saying Ethel, Antoine, I didn't know who they were talking to. I only knew myself as Dudu. When I joined the group, I realized that, oh my gosh, I am the eldest person with the group, you know. I do have something to offer. And they were so willing to learn.
We'll start with a prayer, acknowledging the spirits from here. So I just want to acknowledge all of the people all of our ancestors that traveled here.
I've been told that my family on my mother's side used to live in this area. So this place is really significant to me. The fact that my great-grandparents and my grandfather lived in this area really brings a connection to me. Bear Rock is a really significant place to Dene people. It's a place where Yamoria had skinned 3 beavers, which you can see in the mountains still to this day. Yamoria is one of our creation stories. We felt like we were tested because we had to bushwhack, we couldn't find the trail. Our elder instructors said often it's romanticized how life was back on the land, but it was a lot of tough work.
For me, the significance of Bear Rock was that it's the first time I've really connected to any sort of Dene story. What brought it together, what really made it hit home was being on Bear Rock. It made Dene stories come alive for me. And so being able to climb up there, you can just feel the power and significance, and you know that thousands and thousands of people have climbed up there before you. You can see the whole landscape below you, you can see everything around you, and it was just beautiful.
As we were passing through Norman Wells, you saw all of the man-made islands and the oil rigs and whatnot. It really put into perspective what we've seen along the whole way. It made me more think of the social effects that all had on the people here. With more people and that type of transient lifestyle comes alcohol and drugs and a whole bunch of social issues that still exist today. And so it was really sad. At least I questioned, what am I doing to make a difference in that? So little by little, I guess, I really gave that a lot of thought. My grandparents would have lived on the land in the bush. You have my generation where that connection between land and culture was really starting to sever. This is the most I've ever spent on the traditional territory that my family lived on. And a part of my spirituality was really strengthened by being here. So I think it's really important that we, and that I, try to relearn or rediscover all those cultural practices and the places of our forefathers so that we can maintain that.
This whole experience has really been transformational for me to feel more grounded and more centered in feeling the pride, feeling Dene. It's so different to learn from elders and to learn from the land than it is to learn from books or Western academia. And I think it's really set me up with a guide of how I'm going to go about the rest of my learning.
Is integral for people to start stepping up so that they know the history and they're learning the things that have been done before. Because if no one does it, then there won't be much of a community left. You really don't know who you are until you know where you come from. And for the majority of my life, I never really knew that part. So now I'm hearing more and more and rediscovering who that person is. Being able to travel the Decho and being able to travel where so many before me have traveled and lived life, I think deepens my understanding of my culture and who I am.